Hello, Connective. Welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Subscribe, comment, and like without smashing anything, and let's get into this energy. This is a collective reading for Gemini. Gemini, I've already pulled your overlying and underlying energies. Actually, we got jumpers. And we're going to get the energy oracle out on the table, and then we'll start talking about what we see here. But very, very interesting already before anything else even comes out. You got a supporting energy for what Scorpio had gotten a overlying energy. You got an underlying energy, which was the same, but for the purposes of this reading, it kind of changes the whole message, except for the fact that you have some other cards that kind of go with it that more like reinforce it. So it does also change the message a little bit. As soon as we get this energy oracle on the table, I'll show you the cards. But you got one card each for the Akashic, out of the Akashic Tarot, so one overlying and one underlying energy. And then same for the Spiritual Awakening Universal Law Tarot, one of each card. Let me get some more cards for Gemini from the Energy Oracle, please. I'd like some more cards to go with the cards that are on the table to help us with those messages. And one more. One more card. Oh, okay. Let's see what we got. Actually, we're going to go through these after we go through these. So it's funny too, because for the other signs, I was pulling the Akashic before I was pulling the Law cards, and these cards came out strange. The Law of Transcendence came out first, so it was, let's show them how they came out. So the Law of Transcendence is revere the dark side of life. So, trying to evolve. It's like the main, right? And then this one came out like right underneath it. So this is the Law of Secondary Causation. This is your underlying energy. Stop reacting and start being the person you've always desired to be. Right? So that's your underlying energy out of the Law of, out of the Universal Law Tarot deck. So then we'll go back to the overlying energy from the Akashic Tarot. We have the Seven of Keys, which is the Ascent. So this card talks about like climbing a mountain and using the tools that you have to climb the mountain, but also using your own like power, your own will, your own, fact that you want to keep moving towards that as part of the reason why you reach the top of the mountain. And then we have for the underlying energy out of the Akashic, this is a major arcana. It's card number 18. It's Up in the Air. So Up in the Air it's kind of a little bit detailed in the way of, you see that balloon up there, but because it's up in the air, those people down below, they can't see what's in the basket, and they're not supposed to. So certain things are hidden because they're supposed to be, and it's not just because it's a thing and it's being hidden from you. It's because part of it is that it's still literally up in the air. It's still like cooking. It's still becoming whatever it is it's going to be. There are certain things right now that are just uncertain about the way it's going to come out. That's why it's not ready yet, right? So that's your overlying and underlying energy kind of tying together, because the Law of Transcendence goes with this Ascent card. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. But the keywords that I picked out from looking at these cards and seeing, exactly what the message, how it ties in together, is with this Law of Transcendence card, and we show it again. With this particular card, it's basically transcending your beliefs so that you can to go beyond your perception. So basically, it's telling you to sort of look at things from another point of view so that you can understand it differently, so that you can basically transcend or rise in any situation. It doesn't matter what it is. This could be work, lover, life right now. And I also see specifically, this could go for, people that are single, and then people who are in relationships. They could kind of be going through the same thing. So for some of you, if you're single or this reading is just about you, then it's just you that this is about. But for some of you that have a significant other that you're trying to connect with, something to that effect, you're trying to have like a higher evolved relationship, it's a possibility that it's not just your side that might be getting held up, it might be their side too. So kind of you might want to look at it in that way if you're kind of looking at this in the sense of a relationship. Okay. And then also yeah, like we said with the Ascent card, we'll hold this one up again. He's got those like picks like in the mountain with a rope. So they're saying it's not just you and your strength and your power that pulled you up, it was the tools, but it made an emphasis on your desire to get to the top. Okay. And then for the underlying energy, let's do we talked about mostly everything there is to know about this, except for the fact that up in the air, it's like, when you think about it in terms of like, well, what time is this not going to be, undecided anymore? The time is not specific. So that's another thing that the card does talk about, that it's not like in June or September this is going to happen. That it's contingent on something else that you need to figure out what it is. It's being partly held up because of something that is in your situation. So it's either a past situation where the energy is still sort of present, or it could possibly be that things are just needing to be like wrapped up and you need to kind of let go of something in that process for that new thing to all of a sudden be able to work out. So it might be when you let that thing go, or when you heal from that thing. It may not necessarily be, again, because it's up in the air, it's not decided. Things need to happen before it comes to where it's supposed to be for you. But this card wouldn't be here if it wasn't coming. And then the law of secondary causation, again, this says stop reacting and start being the person you've always desired to be. So it's kind of talking about creating from a place of like reacting, because anytime you're manifesting, you're manifesting from whatever it is that you're doing. And a lot of people are, when they're trying to manifest, they're always thinking about the good stuff they manifest, and I always talk about the things that they accidentally manifest, or things that you consider to be the bad things that manifest. This card is telling you not to manifest from a reaction, which could possibly be a lower vibration. Okay, so let's see what we have. Oh, look. So we're talking about relationships. We're always talking about relationships anyway, but this could be romantic or not. This could be a family member, whoever. I mean, we have happy family on the table, right? Happy family is usually what we're trying to move towards. And a lot of times I talk about, if we are actually trying to have or get, a family or a happy family, that we want to be appreciative of what we already have so that we can bring that in, right? We're always talking about that. And then, so let's do angels first. So I have fourth chakra, Archangel Raphael. So heart chakra is on the table. All right. Speaking of manifesting, a lot of times when you're manifesting too, you're manifesting from the heart chakra. So that could be manifestation. It doesn't, again, necessarily have to be love or anything like that. Although because the chakra itself is on the table, it could be that somebody might need to watch their heart chakra in the way of, like, if they are trying to move towards something, that they understand the state of their heart chakra, if it's blocked or anything like that. It could be in a little bit in the way of the manifestation. And then we have the angel of balance. And I always say that we're going towards balance in relationships. I mean, if we're not going towards balance in anything else in life, I would say that we're always trying to go towards balance in relationships, right? If we're not, we might want to look at that. Just saying. So then we have the thinking woman. So we'll figure out what she's about. Maybe it just has something to do with backing off of the idea of what hasn't come yet, what's hanging up in the air, and deciding that when we do anything reactive without just trusting that the universe will bring us what we want, that we can screw up that manifestation or that thing that's coming to us, right? I don't see that happening here. This is the victory card, but the possibility does exist a lot of times that when something's not cooking and we want to force it, then we're just making it worse. Let's see what Alice has to say. So definitely trying to move forward in a situation, I dare to say move up. Looks like it could very well be manifestation. Yeah, I mean, this thing specifically kind of talked about creating from a reactive state, and creating is manifestation. We're always doing it, even if we're not consciously doing it. That's why some things could help you out, like for the people that are trying to manifest, that are always sitting down and like planning out their entire life and their entire future. If they have themselves in the wrong vibration, or everything that they're writing down is from fear, then it may not necessarily happen for them. That's, I feel like, sometimes why people don't believe, that you can actually create your own, situation, or manifest your own desires. You would be better off just being even tempered and seeing things for how they are, and then kind of moving away from things you don't want, and then moving towards the things you want, as far as manifesting goes. Because anytime you put any kind of real emotion behind it, and whether it's good or bad, and you make it super important, or you do anything like that, that's like, you can always look at details and get, try to want to put in your order to the universe to get what you want. But, again, you can't force it. And you definitely, there's certain ways that you can mess it up, even if you don't think that you have creative control. I think we might have enough cards from Alice here on the table, so let's see what Alice has to say. Okay, and okay, this is interesting because let's go with this one first. So this is resilience, experience, growing stronger, fresh perspective, becoming braver. So this is kind of like what we were talking about, as far as like looking at things from a different point of view, so that we can like transcend that experience. I guess it probably would be part of creating from somewhere that we want to create from, as opposed to creating from a reactive state. And these two cards are going together right now with becoming braver. And anyway, even if you didn't want to do that and you just wanted to climb a mountain, when you have to be somewhat brave to do that. So it is kind of saying that whatever it is that we're talking about here, whatever you want to do, it's a possibility that it might be out of your comfort zone. A lot of times when we're trying to rise in a situation, I mean, like, feel better about it, or whatever the situation is, grow, it's going to take us out of our comfort zone. That's kind of how you know you're growing. If you're out of your comfort zone, you're probably growing, because not only are you presented with the opportunity to grow, which means that you're ready, but if you're feeling the pushback, then it's a possibility that you are actually allowing, because you're, again, it's, if you have any kind of trepidation about, the growth, the uncertainty of the growth, or, moving in a direction that's uncertain, that's going to create that. It's not necessarily a bad feeling. It just kind of lets you know that you're moving out of your comfort zone kind of way, kind of thing. And then, also telling you that you also have the tools to just keep moving, to just keep, it's okay to go out of your comfort zone. You have the tools that'll get you to wherever it is you're trying to go. And then you have curiouser and curiouser, discovery, inquiry, weirdness, and curiosities. So I'm not picking this up necessarily as weirdness yet. I mean, if it is, it could have been from your past. That a lot of times that is kind of how it comes up, where the more you look into a situation, the crazier it gets. I'm more picking this up in terms of just looking into the situation, overall. The discovery part of the card, the inquiry part of the card, the being curious part of the card. Because again, if we weren't interested in what we were moving towards, it wouldn't necessarily work out the way we wanted to anyway. And we're, like I said, we're still manifesting. So it's not like we can be like, oh, never mind, I don't want to manifest that. Like that's what's gonna, if we're in it, that's what it's gonna be. So if we can look at it more of a curiosity or of an excitement than a fear or a trepidation, then again, we're going to bring more stuff that we want to, as opposed to bringing that stuff that we don't want. Again, we have creative control. And such a curious dream, grounding, returning to reality, coming home. Such a curious dream. So I'm kind of getting this as like remembering who you are, with this heart chakra on the table, and the thinking woman, and such a curious dream. It's with all this ascension here. I mean, really, all we're trying to do in our human form is to get ourselves to a point when we're in this, what I would call an unconscious state, for lack of better words, to match where we are when we're in a conscious state, right? So it's almost like, coming home, like remembering who we are. Which for some of you, if it did sound scary when I was talking about it earlier, hopefully that'll be like less scary. You're just going back to yourself. You're not becoming someone new. You're just discovering who you are, because, in order to come down on this planet, for the most part, we have to agree to forget who we are, And so sometimes just remembering who we are can be a little scary because you know, we might not have realized that, well, I was going to say that there is so much to us, but there is, even if we're unconscious of it, there is. I don't know what sign that is on the table, but that card is detoxify. So let's see what else. I mean, I don't even see like a past, you know, bad relationship really on the table. I mean, if we're wanting and looking for a happy family, it's a possibility we're coming from something that might be the opposite of that, and that it might be why we're really, you know, thinking about that. I don't know that everybody pulls that out of their hat unless it's an issue for them because it hasn't been in the past, kind of thing. You know, I mean, you know, aside from the fact that everybody wants a happy family, right? So detoxify is full moon in Taurus, so there might be a Taurus involved, Gemini. And we also have new moon in Libra, know you are loved. Yeah, we have this heart chakra on the table. And new moon in Pisces, attuned to the divine. So you can get help from above. This is where you're going anyway. You can get help from above. So you might have to clear out some stuff. This could be physically, as far as this detoxify card goes. Some of you guys were probably already working towards that, even if you didn't mean to. Sometimes as our body starts to like, I mean, I don't see Lightworker here on the table, but you know, sometimes as our body gets to get more used to like taking in light, sometimes when you try to put toxins into your body kind of tells you, I don't want this. And a lot of times how that'll manifest like the clearest is in food. You'll go to eat something that is maybe not the best for you. It's not terrible necessarily, but you've just gotten your body to the point where it doesn't want it anymore. And I've heard other people talk about this too who are on spiritual awakenings, but it's happened to me, and it happens drastically. It happens like, you know, one day you had this can of soda and the next day it tastes like syrup. You know, people have something in their freezer and they take one out, you know, they had one 2 days ago and now it tastes like cardboard and syrup. I mean, I'm not making this up. This is actual stuff that's happened to people. So detoxify could be something simple as, you know, eating the right things for your body, your physical body. You know, we always talk about your energy body, but your physical body has an effect on your energy body. Physically, if you don't feel good energetically, you're not going to feel good either. Or if this has already been happening for you, because the way this card looks, it looks like people have been experiencing this and have no idea what in the hell is going on. So just know that if certain foods don't appeal to you, you know, one of the other things that I heard, which, you know, is kind of diet related, is like being, you know, extremely starving and then being repulsed by food kind of thing. You know, it could be too that it's possibility that the things that you're thinking of eating aren't necessarily what you should be eating or something to that effect. But if it's happening with all foods, it could just be your body's desire to purge. It does that in many different ways. It could be lack of hunger, you know, a lot of different ways. So just remember that detoxify, if you're not doing it on purpose, then it's a possibility that your body might decide. And then you know you are loved. I mean, this card is here because as you're moving forward, some of you guys need to be reminded that you are loved. It is a possibility that the heart chakra needs a little work, or there's something, you know, with the heart chakra, because we need to be told that we are loved. That we need to be told to know that we are loved and not even to remember. So, and the fact that it's a new moon tells me that some of you guys may have never had that actual feeling. I mean, possibly from your parents, you know, people do have that safety as they're growing up, and in relationships, sometimes they lose it, so they know they're missing it. But for some people, they didn't have it when they were growing up. They didn't actually know that they were loved. I mean, some people, they were never told, and they're not going to walk around and assume. So especially based on the way they're treated, if someone treats somebody like they love them, but they never say it, then the person doesn't need to be told necessarily. They might still want to hear it though. So this card is saying that regardless of whether or not you've been told, you are loved, and to know that. And then this one here, the new moon in Pisces, attuning to the divine. Again, this whole thing is about rising closer to the divine, about remembering the divine part of you. So you have that support there. If you want to talk to somebody, you know, one of your guardian angels, your ancestors, God, any angel, you know, Archangel Raphael, you can do that. It's giving you permission to attune to the divine to get the answers that you would like. And sometimes you do get the answers. Sometimes if you want to know, like as far as like this up in the air card for the Akashic records, you could always tune into the Akashic records and figure out what's going on. Again, you won't necessarily be shown something that's not done cooking yet. But you can always ask. I just recommend not to force it. Again, sometimes we're not ready. Sometimes we think we're ready and we're not. Like this one other thing has to happen for us to actually be ready, but we just think we're, you know, and we might not even care, except for what if it was the other person? What if it is the situation where we're talking about where there are two people involved? You can't really see the white card, but there are two people on that card. And it's like, I mean, the other person has to evolve, right? The other person has to finish, you know, clearing or detoxifying before they come to you. You'd want that to happen, right? Before you actually experience that. So, you know, look at it in the same way for you, that other perspective from the outside, if you've never done that before, and see where you are and see if you'd want to date you. And then you'll kind of know, right? You'll kind of know why it's up in the air, or, you know, maybe. But you know, Gemini, I feel like you're savvy enough to, yes, figure that out, as far as what part of you is not ready to do something, right? And I really want to pull a blind spot, Gemini, so we're going to do that in the extended reading. So if you want to come over to the extended reading, meet us over at the extended. We're going to pull the blind spot and see what might be holding us back from doing this. You have enough stuff to trip up even without knowing the blind spot, but I would definitely just say, if you're not coming with this, Gemini, to watch your heart and just to see if things are balanced. As you're moving towards your victory and your happy family, you know, are things balanced? You can always ask yourself that. And don't forget, don't forget to attune to the divine until we meet again.